All right, it's up to you to believe me or not believe me, but this is another answer that I got from God about why I'm getting the frequencies the way I'm getting them and why other people haven't. Try to see if you can understand what I'm saying here. This isn't something I thought of. This is something that I interpreted. I know it sounds weird the way I'm saying it, but that's actually how it happened. All right. The reason, okay. Imagine how your mind can just run wild. When your mind runs wild as a human being, I mean, we all know our minds can just run wild. We can think some weird, crazy thoughts. Well, imagine if you've tuned in your brain. Maybe I'm only at like 30%, maybe 40% of my brain power. I mean, I can't see the future in detail, like specific cases. If somebody said, what am I going to do? I don't know yet. I don't know. I mean, that's not important for our development at this moment. Unless you have a big, huge meaning on our spiritual involvement that I can see on your part of our dimensional thing, because in every dimensional thing, everyone could probably save the world. You know, everyone could. Everyone is one thing, so we could. But like, okay, I'm not trying to get too tangenty on this, because this is actually sort of a really deep topic, okay? The reason that it's coming through me the way it is, okay, is because think of, boy, how can I explain this? When you have a cluttered mind, okay, when you have a cluttered mind, do you know how hard it is just as a normal human being to get through a day sometimes with something on your mind? Imagine if you tune into God's frequency and you can hear, not just somebody who got the spirit frequency, just the spirit frequency, they hear some things, but the people who tap into the God frequency have so many voices going on, have so many things going on in their head. It's not because they're crazy, it's because they tapped into a frequency. If you started tapping into frequencies and seeing, geometric patterns and stuff like that you wouldn't see, you're not crazy. You're a genius. You know what geniuses do? Geniuses, interpret patterns and figures. Well, guess what? I can interpret an invisible freaking frequency in my mind. I'm not a genius, but apparently I am. But I'm not a genius in the form of I know all the answers on Jeopardy. I'm a genius in the form of I know all the answers of the cosmos. That's friggin' huge. That's more than a genius, and I don't want to sound conceited, but I'm just trying to explain these things. Okay, so I'm trying to explain to you what kind of task I'm going through, what kind of difficulty this is, and I'm doing it for me and you and everybody, because we're all one, okay? This is difficult because I have to allow every idea to be okay. Like, if I think something morbid, I mean, I can see so many vivid, beautiful things, but on the same context, I can think of so many vivid, horrible things, and I have to accept them and love them all. I mean that's God's love. That's our love. Everyone is accepting, whether you believe it or not. You see a horror movie, you don't like it deep down, it bothers you a little bit because the way your DNA and your mind has been made up over the years of your stacked on imageries and your stacked in foods and the vibrations you've picked up, those things combined make you what you are. No matter what you say or what you believe, between the stuff you've watched, the people you've been around, the information you've heard, and the food you've eaten, that's made you up. It's everything that you are has been made up of those things. It's just a vibration, a frequency of vibration that has been augmented and changed and tweaked with all the stuff you added to it. I mean, this stuff's coming out of me. God is giving me answers, and He's doing it through me, and He wants me to say that, just listen to me. I mean, I think everybody says listen to me, because deep down when someone's like, listen to me, have you ever had the feeling you just like, listen to me, everybody, just listen to me, I know what I'm talking about, and people don't listen to you. That's when your inner God knows you're right, or knows you're divine, you're being divine. Maybe not know you're right, you're being divine. Like, when that inner God in you knows you're being divine, that's when you get that feeling. Whether it's bad or good or whatever, and that's why people follow it. Sometimes they get a false feeling of, the sureness, or, you know what I mean? And it really messes things up. Some people who interpret the voices the wrong way end up killing people and harming people because they realize that death isn't bad. They realize it isn't. So people that cause wars and are, giant, horrible people that do horrible things just because they interpret the words and the vibration in their mind the wrong way. Maybe they never got to that spot, but whatever vibration of whatever voice they heard, maybe they didn't see themselves as a proper vehicle or worthy vehicle for God to speak through, so they thought it must have been a demon. But it wasn't a demon. It was God speaking through them, just through their brain, the way their brain operates, through what they've added to it and put into it. So if God comes to a person whose brain is thinking there's a devil and evil thoughts, guess what? There's a devil and evil thoughts, because that's his version of God. Whatever his version of God is doesn't just pertain to how God acts. It would be to how he thinks God thinks. So all the stuff, all the horrible things that he thinks are there. So that's why there's gypsies and all this kind of stuff happening in the world, because somewhere everything that somebody thinks is happening somewhere. In some unbelievable fashion, everything is happening. Everything. Everything that you can think of is happening. Think of something right now, and somewhere it's happening. And somehow, some way, you will be able to prove that it's happening right now if you think it. Maybe not on this plane, but somebody else could meditate and see something you're doing in their meditation because they're open to that frequency that you're putting out there through thought. It sounds crazy, but these things are things that I know now, and I can teach other people how to feel it and sense these things. And if this is interesting to you, let me know, because it's very freaking interesting. It's more interesting than anything I've ever seen.